because Lagos is hard. Hey there, this is Aura, and welcome to the first episode of Aura on the Fly, where we're building a community of young adults who are on a journey to live in purposeful and wholesome lives. We're going to talk about a very juicy topic, okay? A topic that I hope you enjoy because I have a lot of juicy gist to share. But basically, it's talking about my experience moving from Columbus, Ohio, in the States to Lagos, Nigeria, all by myself. Yeah, all by myself. My family, they're still based in Columbus, Ohio. But this girl just decided that, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go. I asked a couple of my friends on my Instagram to ask me questions about what they would want me to answer and things they would like to hear on this episode. And some of them sent amazing questions. So I have 10 that I'm going to go through, and I thought that this 10 were really, really good because it essentially goes through in detail, close detail, all my experiences in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. So first question is, um, why did you decide to move? Okay, so I feel like this is a great opener. Basically, in 2003, my parents and I relocated to Columbus, Ohio. My parents are pastors, and so there was an opportunity for them to come here to basically start a church. So they came, the entire family came and relocated in 2003. And so we lived in Columbus, Ohio. But I always tell this story and say that when I relocated in 2003, I always had it at the back of my mind that I was going to go back to Nigeria in some sort of capacity. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know when it was going to be, but I just kind of knew that I was going to go back at some point. So I went in 2011 myself, went in 2012 for myself, and I had amazing times. I mean, I hung out with my friends. It was so great, but I'm sure that as you all know, well, I'm hoping a lot of you would know, living in Nigeria is totally different from doing December, dirty December in Lagos. It's totally different, but we're going to get there. And so when I came back in 2000, when I went in 2011 and in 2012 as well, um, I was consciously making the effort to go back. But when I graduated university in 2012, about 3 months later, I got an amazing job. I lived in Miami for a while. It was a great experience. And then from then on, I just, I was entering like corporate America. I was making good money, and I'm like, do I really want to go back? I don't think so. I don't think so because I mean, I'm living here. Things are great. Yeah, like why am I going back? And then in 2017, I remember my dad was going for a program in Lagos for a week. And I was like, oh yeah, it's been a while I've been to Lagos. Let me hop on this. Let me just go with him, and chill, whatever. So I was only going to go to Lagos for a week. And I think for the first time, I realized all like the sacrifices that my parents have been making back home in the sense that they had basically like built a house. I mean, I knew about the house, but there was a house there, there was a car. Like I walked into that place, it was furnished, everything was done. And I remember saying to myself, everything I need to move is ready. Like what why am I still waiting, And this was in 2017 in March. Like, why am I still waiting? And so that week that I was in Lagos, I just kept telling my dad, I was like, Daddy, I think I want to move back this year. I think I want to do it this year. Because I've been telling them that I wanted to move back to Lagos. And he was like, and my parents, Pastor and Pastor Miss Mishola, you see those people on the street, you know, tell them that they're amazing. But my parents, ever supportive, ever supportive. I mean, I am so blessed to have the kind of parents that I have. They're like, so what are you going to do in Lagos? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to start my business because I was really into baking and doing, little. I've always kind of done like side businesses, even right when I was in university. And so I've always been in the culinary space a bit. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to Lagos and start my business, do it, hustle it out, I'm gonna withdraw my savings, I'm gonna do it. And my parents were like, oh, maybe that's not a good idea because the way the economy is in Lagos, it can be up today, it can be down tomorrow. So maybe what they think that a bit, maybe try finding a job there first. Find a job, at least you have some sort of income coming in, and then you can build on the side. And I was like, okay, you know what, cool. And so, what they're gonna watch this video, they're gonna realize. But in my mind, I was already set on moving back. So I went ahead and I bought my ticket, one-way ticket, was already to Lagos. I hadn't gotten a job yet. They didn't even know I had bought my ticket yet, right? So I bought that one-way ticket, and I remember in my mind that I was going with or without a job. I bought my ticket for June, yeah, for like ending of June. But in the meantime, I took their advice into consideration and I started applying for jobs. And luckily enough for me, I got a job in Lagos. So that made the move a lot easier. So I already had an offer in Lagos. And I'm telling you all of this to let you know kind of like my privilege in a sense. That's something that I don't want to ever discount in this story because I know that that helped me significantly. So those things for me, what more could a girl ask for, right? And on top of that, moving to Lagos, right? On top of having a house and a car and all that stuff, the job I even got was a job where I could work remotely. So I didn't really have to deal with traffic like that. You know what I mean? But we're gonna come to that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But again, I just want to lay that foundation out there so anybody that is thinking about moving, kind of would understand that there are just certain things that you probably should have or you should have in place before wanting to make that, decision because Lagos is hard. Okay, so let me go back to my questions. Okay. Number two, how easy or difficult was it to settle in? I think I kind of went into this a bit already, slightly, but it was fairly easy for me to settle in because, again, I had a house, I had a car, and my job was a remote position. So I could, at least for the first year, I was working remotely. And for me, what that meant for me was that I had the option to take Lagos gently. Okay. And what I mean by that is I wasn't forced to go out of my comfort zone. And so that job was a blessing for me because it gave me a year to fully just settle in. Now I do have to add that the house, my family house, was not even like in Lagos like that. It was in Ogun State, to be honest. So I lived in a place called the Redemption Camp, and it's far away from Lagos. But this gist is not even that far from Lagos. It's just the traffic. Because anyway, so back to my story. It was fairly easy for me to settle in because again, all these things were in place for me. Yeah, so fairly easy. I was working remotely for at least a year, and because I was living in such a camp is big, but it's also a really small community. I was able to make friends, at my pace. I was able to go out when I really needed to go to the market. Like we had a market in camp, and just find my ground, steadily and easily. I already had friends in camp already, previously to my move, and so I just reconnected with them and obviously grew my network from there. And so settling in for me was, I don't want to say it was a piece of cake, but it was easy. And oh, I forgot to mention, before I moved, I had watched several videos. When I say I was researching, guys, you cannot underestimate the power of research. I was researching everything before I moved. I probably watched all the videos on YouTube about during that period about people that had moved. Probably with all the videos, made calls to my cousins that were back in Nigeria, to aunties, to uncles. Like I was asking questions, So, and this took me again. I've been saying I wanted to move, and I graduated in 2012 to 2017. So it took me about 5 years to finally do it. It's settling in for me. It's fairly easy. Okay, number three. What are some previously held notions that were changed when you got there? This is a really good question. So I remember, like, while I was in the States, and my parents would be on the phone with, aunties and uncles in Nigeria, and they would tell them, oh, that my aunties and uncles or well, their friends or whatever would tell them that they wanted to relocate to America. My parents were like, America is not so easy. Everybody is hustling, it's not easy. Nowhere is easy, that kind of thing. And there's always this notion of people just wanted to leave because they thought America was easy. No, that's not why people want to leave. Okay, people want to leave because they just want to experience a system that works. Period. Not necessarily because they think that money is on the floor or they're going to pluck money from trees. Like, no, they just want to come to a place where they put on the tap, there's water, there's light constantly, the roads are good. That's why people want to move. They just want to move to a system where the system works. Like, and I get so passionate about this because now I understand better and I get it. I understand. Like, some people don't mind coming to America and starting from the beginning because they just want to have that experience. Like, because nothing in Nigeria works, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no sector that is fully developed. Let me put it that way. There's no sector that is fully developed. So everything is still so manual, if I should put it that way. Everything is still so, I don't want to use the word backward because that's harsh, but everything is just manual and it's not functioning the way it should. They just want to move because they want peace. They want to go to a place where the system works. That's it. They just want to have that experience. So that was a really good question. Okay. Did you experience culture shock? Not really. I wouldn't say I experienced culture shock. And again, because I had gone in March, I knew what to expect. I knew the things that I would have to deal with. I knew that there would be traffic was going to be mad. I knew, I just knew a lot of things. I knew, like, making friends, may be difficult. I knew I may get lonely because I'm not going to be with my family. So my mind was really just prepared, really, really prepared, really. And so the culture shock for me it wasn't bad. Okay. Were there times you regretted your decision? Yes. Yes, there were times I regretted my decision. And I'm going to share one particular experience I had that I was just like, yo, why am I in this God beloved country? Because and so December of 2018, I'm like, you know what? Like, I've been here about a year. Um, I'm going to actually celebrate my birthday. Okay, I'm going to actually like do something for my birthday. So I decided I was going to have a house party for my birthday. And so my friends were like, yeah, do it. Everybody was excited. I'm like, okay, cool. So I had this whole plan in my head. That day I had a meeting in Lagos, and I told you that my house is far away from Lagos, so I had to leave early to my meeting in Lagos, and then in Lagos, I technically lived in Ogun State, but in Lagos, so I went for my meeting, and the plan was, on my way back, I was going to pick up my friends. I was driving. I was going to pick up my friends that were coming from Lagos, and to come. And so my meeting ended on time. I think my meeting ended around 2 p.m. ish, and my party was supposed to start. I want to say we put it for 8 or something. I can't remember now, but I think it was 8. So 2 p.m. meeting ended 8. I'm like, yeah, that's enough time to get home. Freshen up, cook, and have a blast. Okay. So when I knew that I had messed up was when I had picked up all my friends and we had gotten on third mainland. Now, third mainland, for people who are familiar with Lagos, is basically a bridge that connects like it's a bridge that connects to Lagos. Basically, it's one of the major freeways to Lagos. Anyway, so basically it's a busy road, but third mainland basically you just drive third mainland all the way down. You cross state lines to Ogun State and get to camp. So we got on third mainland and there was traffic on third mainland and this was around 3 p.m. Typically work traffic on Fridays starts maybe around 4 maybe. Um but that's when it's just building. So I mean when the heat of it would be like around 6 or yeah, around 6, 7. That's when traffic is like really, really intense on third mainland for the most part because sometimes because traffic is not even predictable. Anything. So so there was traffic on third mainland like around that 2:30. I'm like, okay, maybe there's just something in front. Like when we get to the front, we'll see what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that we were in this traffic from 2 p.m., we didn't get to camp till 10 p.m. at night. Oh God, that day. I regretted not only coming to Lagos, I regretted everything about my existence that day because, guys, I was 8 hours in traffic. In my mind, I was just thinking 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. I would have gotten on a plane from Lagos to, I would have landed in London in 8 hours with time to spare. 8 hours, I would have driven from Columbus to Toronto, Canada. And I'm here in traffic. And you know what pissed me off was when we got to the front and when the road was like clearing up, there was nothing. We couldn't figure out what was causing that, and that's the thing that pisses me off about Lagos traffic sometimes. The fact that you get to the front and either what you see just pisses you off the more like, okay, people are just driving stupidly. That's why there's traffic, or you don't even see what is causing the traffic. You're just like, what is happening? So at that point, trust me when I say I cried. I was driving, I was crying on the wheel. My friends were like, telling me sorry, all of that. I was so pissed. So when we got to camp around 10, that's when we started cooking. That's when we started decorating the house. That's when we started doing lots of things. And to be honest, what started as such a mess up experience actually ended up being amazing because my friends, shout out to them, they pulled it together. They helped out to cook, to decorate. My friends came out. We basically like hung out till like 5, 6 a.m. Because the party didn't start till like almost midnight. So let's start like almost midnight, and it was such a fun party. Actually, it was one of I think that that was a highlight of my experience in Lagos. That was good. It was good. It was really good. Um, things you wish you knew before you went. I would say okay. I think a major thing for me now that I think about it was when you get to Lagos, don't spend in dollars in your head. Don't do that. No, don't do that. You're gonna. You are setting up yourself for what they call failure. Don't do that. Don't do that. So when I first got there, I had savings, and so I was like, okay, so this thing I was calculating, 5,000 naira. That's just in dollars. That's not too much. The kind of so when I say people use me to play ping pong, collecting my money anyhow because I was always just calculating in dollars and I'm like, oh dollars, it's not that's just $20. That's just $30. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it. So really understand that you're in a different economy and so you want to make sure that whatever you're purchasing is in line with market pricing. So don't say because it's just $20 then it's not. No, 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 no. Actually make sure that you know your conversion is in naira. Like ask around ahead, ask questions. Don't spend it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't be converting things to dollars. Like spend in naira. So you're making so you can ensure that the things you're buying, again, is fair market price. So tell us about your man experience. Tell us about your man experience in Nigeria. Man experience. So let me just throw this out there, right? I think, okay, so I don't think I experienced a lot of boy drama like that in Lagos. And it was partly because I was very cautious about where I was going, like my social life and my outing. Again, because the first year of my moving back, I was at home. I really didn't have a social life. Okay, I was basically home all the time. Um, I would say that I started like experiencing the social life when I decided actively to, to find a church, and I made sure that I wasn't going to find a church in camp because I already had friends in camp. So my social life was basically very, very limited. I was either in camp or in church for the most part, and then eventually I started going to the office. But the organization that I worked with at the time, we were all female. We're all ladies, and so there was no man interaction at work. So if I wanted any man interaction like that, it was either in church or in camp or once in a while when my friends and I would be like, yeah, let's go out, let's do that. But that was like, oh, we're going for like a concert, we're going for a show. I used to love like plays in Lagos. So, but when it came to like, I guess a better word would be dating in Nigeria, there were some interest here and there, um, but I was still very careful. I really was extremely careful. I tried, let me put it that way. Nobody comes from in the comments. I tried to be extremely careful. Again, to, I didn't want to do too much. I really didn't want to do too much. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, when it came to dating in Lagos, for me, it was fair. And that's all I'm gonna say. To be fair, I just live really far, and so even that in itself was a deterrent to really meeting a lot of guys. But I had a fair experience. There were some good, there were some that were bad. It is what it is. Okay, so let's move. Okay. Any advice for people looking to move? Yes. So it's funny because I talked about the same thing. I think last year I was at the University of Warwick in the UK, and I was I had a talk with some students there that were looking to move back, and I think at the end of that talk I maybe had discouraged them more than I encouraged them. So I hope I don't do that here. But basically, look, if you're looking to move back to Lagos, see, yeah, Lagos is hard. So let me put it this way: Nigeria is hard. Lagos is tough. Okay, and obviously Lagos is just one of the 36 states in Nigeria, right? So you could be looking to move to Abuja or where else, but I only can talk about Lagos because that's where I live. It's tough. And so there's some things that you just want to make sure that you have like on on standby. So for me, major thing is accommodation. I mean, if you have family, great, but I know of people that they lived with family and they didn't have the best of experiences, and so I don't know if I would recommend. I would recommend, researching online and looking for an apartment specifically in maybe an estate, because those tend to be a bit safer. They might be a bit more expensive, but at the same time, they're a bit more secure. And I know now that there's some companies in Lagos now that are doing even monthly payments, but again, those tend to also be, more on the expensive side as well. But yeah, just research into like, accommodation first, then transportation. How are you going to move around? Are you going to send a car from here, to Nigeria? I highly recommend you do that, or else Ubers and things can get really, really expensive, especially if you live kind of on the outskirts and your workplace or whatever to your home is a bit far, then you just spend a lot of money on Uber, Taxify, all that good stuff. Because jumping bus in Lagos, do not recommend. I never did it. I won't recommend. I would not recommend. But I mean, there's some people who move back to Lagos and they were jumping buses and they were Those people, they are troopers. So, but me, I couldn't do it. I had to drive, and driving in Lagos is a madness. Is a madness. So, anyway, Sha, I've just put it out there. Driving in Lagos is a madness. It's an extreme sport. If you can afford a driver, do it. Okay, and but then again, you want to make sure that this driver is coming highly recommended by hopefully somebody you know back in Nigeria, I'm sorry, in Lagos, and well vetted and all that because people move mad. Okay, people move really, really mad. So my advice would be to have at least those two things like settled. The third thing is your why. Your why has to be like the biggest motivating factor for you. And then when you know your why, also be really flexible to adjust those plans when you get there because it's just Lagos is just so unpredictable sometimes. Things that you take for granted here, good roads, water constantly, light constantly. I was blessed again in the fact that the place I lived, we had light 24/7 for the most part. I didn't even own a generator, guys, which is unheard of in Lagos. Everybody owns a generator in Lagos. Everybody. But in my own, like in redemption camp, I didn't even own a generator because we always had light. I typically would always have water. So those things for me, major. Those are basic necessities that you would have here, but it's major in Nigeria for you to have these things constantly. And I had those, and so I was very, very blessed that my life wasn't. I wasn't very stressed. Thinking of is there going to be lights at home? Is there going to be water at home? Those things were just there. In fact, in camp, if there wasn't going to be water or lights, they would send a text out to everybody letting them know. Yeah, I know, right? It's like it was amazing. So, apart from the fact that it was far away from everything, those things for me saved me a lot of mental stress because those are things that I didn't have to worry about, and it was great. So, look into those things. Just know that you're going to a place where the things that you didn't have to worry about here, you probably will have to start worrying about it there. Again, things like light, water, things like security, having a maid guard, having a possibly having a driver if you don't want to drive, and those are just things that you would have to pay for, and it can get really expensive. Let me put it that way. So that would be my advice. My advice majorly to anybody that wants to move is to do your homework and research. Make all the connections, do all the calling here, research. However, if this is something you really so want to do, go for it. Absolutely go for it. Absolutely go for it. Once you weigh your pros and your cons and you're still very convinced that this is the thing for you, do it. Do it. Like I said, now they have apartments that you can pay for. So if you want to go for like 6 months and just to test it out, there are apartments that allow you to do that. There are landlords that allow you to do that you can pay monthly and you just do 6 months, see how it goes and come back. Do it. Absolutely. Do it. Last question is, would you move back? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I absolutely would. I could move back. My experience in Nigeria wasn't terrible. I say that to everybody. It was not a terrible experience at all. But then again, it was not terrible because of my privilege, right? And this is not to rub it in, but I really have to admit that I was privileged in moving to Nigeria. And so it was an amazing time for me. I'm here now in the States. I don't know for how long I'm going to be here, but I've always been that person that I'm always on the go. I really want to experience different things. I'm a young girl, I'm a baby girl, so why not? So that's all I had. Wow, I've been talking for such a long time. I think I need more wine. I don't know why I do that. I'm sorry. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoy this, this little chit chat, this little story time. If there are any questions that, I missed out or whatever, please feel free to email me. I'm going to leave all my contacts in the box below. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer. I'm hoping to do more of more videos, just talking about my experiences and stuff. And so, if you stick around with me, this is going to be a channel just for you. Please let me do like all the YouTubers. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Honestly, guys, please like and subscribe and share. Honestly, my goal right now, yeah, I'm humble. My goal right now is just to get to 100 subscribers. I promise. Just for now, once we get to the 100, I'll let you know what the rest is. But for now, I just want to get to 100 because let me just know that at least 100 people are interested in this Raz girl. Please help my life. Okay? Thank you. All right, so that's all I have. Again, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer. I'll be more than happy to engage. Feel free to chat me up. Follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter. My Twitter is dry, but my Instagram I try once in a while. I'll put all this. I'll put all those links below. And yeah, this is something that I hope to do weekly to just connect with you and create this platform just for us that are, on a journey to living purposeful and wholesome lives. Again, this is Aura. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.